What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Backline Gear Review. I'm your host, Billy, Chief Redbeard, whatever you want to call me. And today we are going to go over my very first PRS, which is the PRS Mark Holcomb SE edition. Now, this guitar is my very first PRS that I ever owned, one of the three that I have, and it was one of my main axes for a very, very long time. I've had this since about 2016. As you can see up here, there is no PRS signature, so it is one of the older SE models. So this obviously is not a USA model. This is a Korean made, still in a Korean shop, and we have a beautiful guitar here. So basically, let's get started. Got a mahogany body with a quilted maple veneer in the Holcomb burst, what they're calling it. So it's kind of a gray that fades into a purple and then into a black. It was one of my favorite colors that I had ever seen at the time, and this was my exit from the EMG 81.5 ESP LTD era. Like most metal players, that's pretty much what I played on. That's what I stuck with, and I wanted to kind of get out of that, get back into a kind of passive setting. That was never really hardcore into it, never really paid attention to what pickups and stuff are in a guitar. If I could play, I could play. I've never been known to be the best out there. So what we're gonna do today is take a look more and more in this. So basically, as I said, we've got a mahogany body with the quilted maple veneer. This came out really, really nice. It's one of the kind of prettier kind of guitar finishes I've ever seen. We've got Alpha Omega pickups in here. So they are Seymour Duncan that were made specifically for the Holcomb. And of course, they do have a production line of these pickups. So really, really high end, really, really clear, and just overall versatile pickups. I really, really enjoyed these for the longest time. I can say that I have played some other pickups recently that have kind of changed my mind a little bit, but overall, Seymour Duncan is definitely one of my favorite pickup companies out there. We've got a push-pull toe knob here to split the coils on each of these. Three-way blade switch, and then a volume knob as well. The second position with the coils tapped is probably one of my favorite sounds that this guitar produces, except for obviously the heavier stuff. We've got a three-piece maple neck up here with a satin finish on the back, ebony fretboard with some kind of pearl bird inlays. That was one of the things that did also draw me to this guitar, because I thought for some reason, again, I hadn't known a PRS, so I thought for some reason that on a lower line or SE model PRS, you wouldn't get the birds. And then, of course, I started doing my research and fell in love with the guitar. But these birds specifically really, really, popped out to me because they're just absolutely beautiful. Again, some kind of pearloid finish to them. I'm not an expert when it comes to inlays, so I'm not as sure exactly what the material is, but they're very, very pretty. Up here, we've got, again, no signature on the headstock here. We've got regular PRS SE tuners. One of the things that I do want to do is change these out for lock-in tuners. It is a future purchase that I'll be making. Luckily, PRS has come out recently with PRS SE lock-in tuners, so they should be able to just drop right in, and then they'll be able to have a guitar with lock-in tuners and help a lot with that tuning stability. So one of the only issues I have with this thing is the nut on this. Quite honestly, it's complete garbage. There is a lot of tuning issues when it comes to that, especially, of course, on everybody's favorite G string. When I tune it, it seems to just not hold in place. I've looked to see if anything's grabbing the string as it's tuning. I've kind of filed it down a little bit. I've put some nut lube in there, and it just nothing seems to really help it. Lately, it's not been too bad. I did recently get this worked on a little bit. My toe knob actually went out twice on me, so I've got a new one in there. It actually, fortunately, sticks up just a little bit, but nothing that really bothers me. But overall, the guitar is really, really nice. I think it's really, really well built. The guys over in Korea that are building these things are doing a phenomenal job, and this one is no exception here. Again, beautiful guitar. I love the neck. So this is a pattern wide thin neck, and I believe it's also got the tag of fat on it. So I think it's a little bit wider than they typically would come, but it feels great. Feels great in the hand. It plays great. It's very fast for you shredders out there. I am not one of those, so if you are a shredder out there and you have this guitar, you can maybe comment on this video and let people know also what you think. White binding on the side, really, really nice aesthetic touch on there. Got a PRS SE bridge that is a fixed bridge, so a lot of them come with tremolos on it nowadays. Again, as I'm becoming more and more familiar with PRSs, typically they got some type of PRS trim on there. This one does not. It's got a bridge that, as far as I know, is modeled more after a hip shot type bridge. So it feels really, really good in the hands. I haven't had too many issues with this. Other than that, not much to it. It's a very, very nice guitar. A little heavy. I have found a little heavier than some of my other PRSs that I have. Maybe the cutout for the trim is part to play in that. But overall, this guitar isn't too bad. I really, really do enjoy it. Again, it was my main axe for a while, and I played it a ton. So I basically got rid of 2 ESPs for this. They were some older model LTDs. Not too old, but probably the 2008, 2009 era. I got rid of those. Really, really wanted this guitar really bad, and I was not disappointed by leaving basically 2 guitars for the one. And it has served me well over the years. It's something I'll probably never get rid of. Make the modifications of the nut, make the modifications of the tuners, and that's pretty much it. There's not too much to it. The nasty guitar, when you put it through, you know, nice high gain amp, and it cleans up very well through a nice clean amp. So what we're going to do is we're going to look over some of the tones on this. I'm going to do a quick playthrough on some of the different tones. I'm going to be switching in between. So if you see me doing that and I forget to put labels in for some reason, I apologize up front. I get kind of forgetful when it comes to editing, so my apologies, but I will be doing some switching just so you can get it. Excuse some of the playing because it's not going to be the greatest. I'm going to try to get that neck tone as much as I can from you guys when I'm up, and then we'll just be going through some pretty nice heavy tone through the bridge, and then when we go over to the cleans, I'll do the same thing. I will show you guys that push-pull position 2 sound because, again, it's one of my favorite sounds on this guitar. Other than that, let's get started here. Alright, so as you can see there, we get some pretty nice sounds out of this thing. Again, one of my favorite guitars that I own in my arsenal. Again, it was my workhorse for a long time. So get some beautiful sounds out of the Seymour Duncan Alpha Omega, as well as some really awesome high gain tones out of here. I don't have any issues with this guitar again, except for the nut, and then I would put some locking tuners on it. If you are in the market for something sub $1,000 and looking for the right guitar, I honestly believe this is it. It's been one of my favorites that I've ever owned in the history of guitars that I've owned, which has been quite a bit. Sold quite a bit, bought quite a bit, and this is one of my favorites. Again, this isn't going anywhere. It will stay in my rack for a very long time. If there's anything else you guys would like to see, please comment down below. Really appreciate all the interaction we've gotten recently on the channel. Do not forget that every Wednesday at 6 a.m. we also have a podcast on this channel called the Backline Podcast. It is available everywhere for streaming. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and have a nice day.